Hey, what's going on internet? This is Josh Noel from SonduckFilm, still using the same intro years later. But if you're new to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. So we do a lot of title tutorials on the channel, but title work in After Effects is quite common. So in this video, we're going to talk about 3 different types of effects that we can apply to our titles to just make them not boring, to make them awesome, to add a little bit of personality, just like what I'm trying to do on camera right now, add a little bit more personality to me. I have no personality. Anyway, let's jump into our video. Let's talk about these 3 techniques and let's get started. Okay, so for our first technique, it's an easy one, but a really awesome technique, and we're simply going to be able to duplicate our text and make it look awesome on any sort of basic transform animation like this. So I'm going to show you what we can do. So we'll come over here to our blend composition, and all we have in here is our title layer and some basic rotation animation as a 3D layer, and then we animated the Y rotation. You can do any animation. I just did this. So what we can do here is apply the echo effect. So let's go to effect, time, and we're gonna grab echo. And what this effect does is that it creates duplicates on elements that have motion in it. So if we didn't have an animation, you wouldn't see duplicates here, but we got to fine tune this effect. So what we could do first is increase the number of echoes. And by doing that, things get a little bit crazy, so we'll do like 12, and you can always offset the echo time in seconds, and now we'll stretch things further apart, but it's really up to you. We can bring down the decay, which kind of layers it a little bit better. And as far as these blend modes go, it really just depends on what type of footage or graphic that you're applying this to, so just experiment with those if you're just not doing this to a plain title. And then for our effect apply, it just adds a nice little creative touch to our title. And with a regular title, this is what it looks like. And so it's a really cool touch. And remember, you can animate your titles in any way, and you can add this effect to it. So it's really nice just to see what you can do with it when you're doing some sort of creative work. And before we continue on, I want to give a quick shout out to our motion graphics starter pack. So we have our very own After Effects template, which we call the motion graphics starter pack, which currently has 300+ elements ranging from backgrounds, accent motion graphics, and titles. And what's so great about this pack is that it's built to help you enhance your quality of work within a matter of minutes. So from our pack, we can take a simple title animation out of it and quickly apply it to our composition, and we can quickly spruce it up by using our accent motion graphics, which just makes the title so much more impactful and just adds a lot more detail to what we're doing. And to finish up our composition, we can grab one of our many animated backgrounds and apply it to our composition. So we have hundreds of elements like this, and it's currently being added onto. So if you want to check out our motion graphics starter pack with all 300+ elements, you can check our link in the video description. So for our second technique, we're going to be creating these cuts in our title, making it look like our title has been cut up, and it's really easy to do it. So here we are in our second composition, and always for good measure, I like to pre-compose my title when I have it done, when I'm doing title work that can be a little bit destructive. So what we want to do to get this effect started off is we want to grab the pen tool here, and simply we'll just add a point over here, go across, and we'll just kind of go ahead and close this up just like that. Awesome. And then what we can do is go to edit, duplicate, and we'll come here to the bottom layer and hit M on our keyboard for mask and delete the mask one. So that's going to be there. Then we'll go to our top layer, go up to effect, perspective, and we're going to grab drop shadow. Okay. From here we can increase the opacity, and I'll zoom in so we see what we're doing. Turn that off. And we can change the direction so it can go straight down. So boom, just like that. And then we can increase the softness by a little bit. And we'll keep our softness at 0, and maybe go set the distance to 2, and just kind of increase the opacity to like 80%. Then what we'll do is duplicate the drop shadow. And then what we can do is increase the distance by a little bit, maybe to 6, and then increase the softness. And then you set the opacity to 100%. And then we do it again, duplicate it, increase the softness. And if you want to do it again, that's okay. And I'll just continue to increase the softness, and it'll just define the cut a little bit more. And one thing you'll notice is that the drop shadow is going to not only be on the cut, but it's going to be on the outside of the title, and I don't want that. So what we can do to quickly fix that is we can grab our bottom composition, duplicate it, and bring the layer above our top layer here, and toggle switch the modes until you see the track matte right here. And for the middle layer, set this to alpha matte. So now the drop shadow is only going to be on our title, and that's highly important. So, and also if you want to add like another cut in here, we grab our middle layer with the mask, and we can simply just grab the pen tool, draw no more across, And then we can always animate these cuts by hitting MR on keyboard to bring up mask path in 1 and 2. Add a keyframe for both of those paths. And we can move these keyframes forward in time, maybe to the end of our animation. And you can always select mask 1 or any of them. Make sure the selection tool is selected. And we can just, you know, kind of move it a little bit. And grab like mask 2 and just move it around. And then we can select all 3 of these layers, pre-compose them. And we'll call it cuts done or whatever. And we can just do any transform animation we want to do. So I'll just quickly add a scale to this. So once all said and done, you're going to have a cool little text cut effect like this, and it's very easy to do. Alright, so for our third and final technique, we're going to shatter our text like this, and you can do it however you want, but it's just a very basic concept. So what we'll do here is we'll duplicate our title here, and all we're going to do is kind of create a mask to where we want to break our title off. So, you know, we want to break off the bottom B here. Close that up. Want to break off the R, no big deal. Maybe I want to break the K really off, I don't know. And we'll just cut the N in half. Okay, so when you're happy with everything that you want to cut off, make sure all that's inside the mask. We'll go ahead and hide the bottom layer. Boom, you see that's what's selected. Okay, then we'll grab our mask layer and we'll come up here, we'll go to layer, pre-compose, and we'll call this title cutout. Move all attributes into new composition, click OK. And once again, that's all that's there. So then we'll come here to our top layer, go up to Effect, Simulation, and we're going to grab CC Pixel Poly. Alright, scrub here to the beginning of your timeline. Awesome. Okay, so what we need to make sure we do is we need to go back into our original composition, hit MR keyboard to bring up all the masks, copy them, and then come here to our bottom layer and paste those in there. And hit MR on keyboard and set all the masks to subtract. Very easy. This way when it breaks off, bam, it just comes in there. Perfect. Now you'll notice before this even happens that you'll see cuts in the text. We'll fix that in a second, so don't worry about it. Unless you actually like that, then that's cool. But we have our effect in here, and first thing we want to do is come here to the bottom where it says start time. Maybe we want to start 1 second into our composition. This controls the timing of the effect, so 1 second in, boom, it breaks off. And you know, that's cool. Alright, so let's work on this effect real quick. One thing I want to do is maybe bring down the force, really depends on you, and also the gravity so it doesn't fall down so quickly. So, you know, there's that. Actually, you can see it for a little longer. Maybe increase gravity. Alright, and we can increase the, or decrease the grid spacing if you want more or less, it just depends. I think texture polygon looks the best, and this is pretty cool. You can always adjust the spinning or, you know, for center, but that's essentially the core settings of this effect. Now, so here's what we have, our titles up there, and boom, it breaks it apart. Now, if you want to get rid of the cuts before this happens, it's really easy to fix this. So what we can do is grab our bottom layer, duplicate it, hit M on your keyboard, delete all the mask, and the cuts won't be there. But what we want to do is at 1 second, whenever the break actually begins, we want to split our layer and delete it. So you can just bring the out point in or go up to edit, split layer, and delete it. So now, boom, you don't even see the cut. It's all seamless, you know, original text, it breaks off. Now, what if you want to keep some of your text in there? What if you still want to be able to read what the text says when it breaks off? Well, we'll duplicate the middle layer again, and we'll bring the out point out and then bring the in point into that 1 second cut. Then we'll go up to Effect, Generate Fill, and we can just do like a darker gray. Click OK, and put this layer underneath all your titles. So now, boom, breaks off, and now there's still some text remaining. So that's up to you. It's a really cool technique. You can always make this a little bit darker. I like the idea of that. So you can still obviously, you know, read the title, but you can still have like a cool effect to it. So that's up to you if you want to add that. Just giving you some options here. So at this point, you're probably like, yo, dog, what about motion blur? Well, we can turn it on and notice that nothing works because this effect does not work with the built-in motion blur. So I have a solution for this. And usually I prefer to use a sledgehammer for this type of work, but for this we're gonna go to Effect, Time, and we're gonna grab CC Force Motion Blur. Wow, that's nice. So that concludes our tutorial, and don't use a sledgehammer to break into somebody's car. I didn't give you that idea. Actually, I just did. So that concludes our video on our 3 title effects inside of After Effects. to effects, haha. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we post multiple post-production tutorials every single week here on the channel. And you can also hit me up on my social media networks. Those links are in the video description, and always be creating.